Anybody can be a teacher, just a little discipline, that's all you need. And welcome to the show. Tonight we're talking about education. Little dapper, don't you think? And you'll be meeting my guests a little bit later. You can ring us, the phone number coming up on your screen anytime now. You can phone us on that number, 0532 46 1000. We'll take some general calls. You could fax us as well this way. That's it. And the fax number is coming up as well. We've got the fax on. Yes, there we are. It has, of course, come to my notice that some people say I'm a little sexist from time to time, and of course I'm not. There'll be no sexist stuff on the programme. Sit. Tonight at all. It'll all be in terribly good taste. Could you turn that music off, please? Thank you very much. I said we were doing education. Oh, golly gosh. I tell you what else I wanted to talk about tonight in the first. Who put the chair down? Which one of you was responsible for that? And these are, of course, all members of the school fraternity, are we? Yep. Yes? Do you want to do a little voice test just to make sure you're all here? Say hello.
Hello.
Now shut up. Right, that's it. Now, I tell you actually what I did want to talk about. We're going to have apparently today, later on today being Saturday, the Ramblers Association are going out to make their point and try and keep footpaths open. And I know it's not a very serious point, but I did think, being a conservationist myself, that Ramblers muck up the countryside something shocking. Those loud coloured anoraks, have you seen them? They make a lot of noise. They go through the beautiful countryside, stamping their big feet, talking all the time. It's just not on. If you've got any views, you can give us a call. Now, we're going to take some calls. And what? Mail. We're going to do some mail. Look, don't do that off camera because it catches my eye and it always upsets me. So, without further ado, we're going to start right at the beginning of the program. Thank you. Put it down there, all right? And go and get on with your homework. Without further ado, we're going to start off with the letters. Thank you for those. And if you would like to write any suggestions for the programme and stuff like that, this is the address. There it is. Wales Mail, care of Yorkshire Television, the Television Centre, Leeds, LS31JS. Now, first of all, this letter comes from Karen Blair in Glasgow, who says, James, you can tip your head forward, please. Can you tip your head forward, please? What for? She says, you know, from where I'm sitting, I have you watching at the moment, Karen, it's not unlike the Batman logo. Is it? Oh, I see what you mean. This bit, the middle bit, and these are the two wings here. You can go, please. Get out of here. Anyway, thank you very much indeed, Karen. Don't call us. We probably won't call you. From the Phantom Bimbo Bonker, who wrote to us, said, loved the show last week on the quiz, but there should have been harder questions and less clothes. So could you do a show where they start with nothing on? Enough trouble already, though, please. Steve Murray in Harrogate said, on last week's show you mentioned Aardvark during the quiz. Later that day, Aardvark ran second in the 4:30 race at Ripon, and the odds were 15-2. Have you any other tips? And Tony Watkins in London North 9 says, I think I've fallen in love with Tricia, a contestant from last week's show. If she doesn't have a job, I'd like to give her one. What do they teach you in school, for goodness sake? Behave yourselves. From Craig in the Wirral, trying to be a clever dick, he says, one of the questions on last week's show was, what was the name of the computer in 2010? Actually, I said 2001. So you're wrong. Right, we do some more letters a little bit later on. Thank you for that. The calls are coming through. The number to ring, 0532 46 1000. Let's talk to Paul in Exeter. Hello, Paul.
Evening, James.
Good evening.
I've lost the picture.
You've what?
I've lost the picture.
You've lost the picture?
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
Question.
Funnily enough, can you see what I've got on my monitor here? Can you see that? Look at that. I've got to sit and... Can you get that?
No, I can't get a bloody
thing. Look at
thing.
that. Right, I've got the same problem here.
So frustrating.
Do you see that? Never mind.
This is really frustrating.
Ask the question, Paul.
Right. How do you conduct an interview for a bimbo? I mean, it looks like you've got a few potential ones in the studio.
Oh, look, I'm trying to get away from my sexist image. Do you mind? Actually, I don't have anything to do with it. It's all done with the office, and I'm not allowed to have anything to do with that at all. I'm very sorry, Paul. But if you think you'd be good, drop me a line. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Good, fine, okay. Steve from Beaconsfield. Hello, Steve.
Yeah, James.
Yes, Steve. Speak up a little bit.
I'd like to know what grade you had to get on this amazing programme you're now showing here.
What, Steve?
What grade you had to get on this amazing programme.
Now, funny enough, we're talking about education tonight. Little one of my favourite subjects. I went to a place called Longmead County Secondary School, which was a posh name for a secondary modern. And it was in Epsom in Surrey. And me and Dick Pearce were asked to leave about the same time, actually.
What grades did you get, though?
We weren't allowed to take any exams.
You weren't?
In fact, sorry, we didn't hear that. Did you want to say that again? No. I was told I couldn't even take religious knowledge, O-level. I was a bit upset about that. Andrew in Essex. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, James.
Yes, Andrew.
You're a pretty cool guy. I want to know where you get all your clothes.
I tell you what, when I get the clothes for nothing, when I get sponsored, when we can do that on television, I'll tell you where I get them from. Right, Peter Dawson is on the air now. Now, Peter Dawson, actually, he didn't just phone in. Peter is the General Secretary of the Professional Association of Teachers. Hello, Peter.
Hello there.
Now, Peter, you're a former headmaster.
That's right.
And I don't know how to say this really, Peter, but you believe people like me and television in general is responsible for perhaps youngsters, maybe such as the ones in the studio tonight, not doing terribly well at school.
Well, I think that some of the examples set on television by way of how people should behave themselves and live their lives don't set a very good example to children. That's certainly the case. I think quite a lot of the stuff that's shown on television doesn't really suggest...
In fact, Peter, actually, you said EastEnders was a very bad influence, and you'd like to see EastEnders off, wouldn't you?
I do think it's an evil influence. I mean,
evil influence, Peter?
Absolutely.
Why do you say evil?
Well, because it projects an image that suggests that infidelity and corruption and lying and cheating and homosexuality are all sort of part of a rich tapestry of everyday life for normal people. And
but they are the part. Look, just a minute, Peter.
Absolute rubbish.
Shut your mouth, Peter. Don't speak to me like that. You may have been a headmaster, but it's my programme. Get rid of him. Do you think that's right? No. Do EastEnders corrupt you?
No.
I mean, do you feel that if there are a couple of people portrayed on the television, they're gay, do you find that's offensive to you?
No, that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he's saying whether it's offensive or not. He's asking whether or not it corrupts us. So.
Does it corrupt you?
It doesn't make you go out.
In a way, it focuses you away from issues that matter.
It doesn't make you go out and do it.
How many of us have got real contact with drugs?
Okay, we'll talk to you later. He's got a big mouth, this one. What's your name?
David.
David, I think the gay issue is one that does matter, and I think people saying it shouldn't be shown on television is very, very dangerous.
Yeah,
but we'll come back. We'll come back to that in a moment. Sorry about that. Right, shall we have a little music? Do you think that's okay? A little music now? Because as you know, when videos appear on the James Wales Show, they always get into the charts. Russell's on the line? Oh, of course he is. Yes, Russell.
Hi, James.
Yes, Russell, just hold yourself in readiness, Russell. I haven't finished speaking. It is my programme. Just wait there, and I will come back to you in a few moments, okay?
Cheers.
Right, okay, as we said, when we play videos, I'd like you to take note that they always go into the charts. This is going to be great. Russell is going to do what we call a do-it-yourself dedication. I mean, if it catches on, we may do some more. He's going to come on and dedicate the record to some of his friends over the beginning, so I'll start rolling the VT, as we say it in the business. And, Russell, you know what it's called?
Yep.
Okay, off you go.
Hi James and Twinkle. This is Russ from Cheltenham. I would like to say thank you to my darling wife for giving us both Tony Louise, born at 6/27/14th, and dedicate this record, Overrated by Kingdom Come.
Wow! Thank you!
Cheers,
Very
James.
good. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I thought we weren't having anything like that sexist again. Goodness sake, please, get it together. The normal transmission of the James Wales Show will resume as soon as possible. Have we been taken off the air? I thought we'd been taken off, but no, we're back on. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Sir Rhodes Boyson, former Minister for Education, and Derek Thatchett, spokesman for the Labour Party, on
I brought the family
on
with
school
me.
issues. Talking about school issues, I have to say that somebody wrote, after we had you on the programme once before, somebody wrote to me and said, could I please sound my THs? And I said, it's spelt with an F, not with a... It's fatchit.
Well, we've
And it's a very difficult word.
That's right, but we've spent time all week trying to rehearse that. I was on your radio programme on Monday night.
He's making it up.
You got it wrong on that occasion.
He's making it
You got
up.
it right tonight.
So, Rhodes, what about education? Have the standards slipped, do you think? Are most of the young people in the schools coming out less educated than they were? More rebellious? What do you think?
Well, if we're going to do it by the number of football hooligans...
No, we're not.
There we are.
No, we're not.
Okay.
No, we're not.
Okay, well, we asked that. We're not doing it by the football hooligans, then. I mean, some people say this year the GCSE results are better.
Uh-huh.
I have my doubts, because I think it's a different examination. You can't compare like with like.
You think the standards are lower?
No, I wouldn't say the standards are lower. I'm suspicious of the projects which people take home. I think when you get the GCSEs this year, in certain subjects like English, all the families should go, because all the families done it at home in many cases.
Who did...
Well, how can you stop it? How do you know?
Do you...
I mean, how do you know? Well, maybe you haven't.
Who do you blame for... Do you blame it on the parents? Do you blame it on the teachers? Do you blame it on the lack of money perhaps put into education? Who do you blame it on? Or
No,
I
wouldn't blame it all. I think the comprehensive system may have had something to do with it, but I wouldn't blame it all on that. I think it's an amalgam, tributaries that flow into a river. I think, for one thing, the morale of teachers is dropped. And I think pay has something to do with that. Status in society. I mean, I joined as a teacher. I did 18 years as a head and 23 years as a teacher as a whole.
You think teachers should be paid more?
I think teachers should be paid more, yes.
See, I have a little bee in my bonnet about that. I mean, teaching is one of those few jobs where if you get a job as a teacher, you're there unless you do something a little immoral with the headmaster's wife or one of your pupils. No, you're not going to get the sack, are you? I mean, teachers have got a job for life. If they're bad, they can go right through until they retire, inflicting bad teaching on the kids in the school.
Yeah, I think in many cases, a third or a quarter of teachers are overpaid. And they're the ones who can't do anything else, and they're there all their lives. Now, but I think a lot of the very good teachers are underpaid and are underestimated by society.
I'm coming to Derek in a few moments, who spent some time this week in school. Yeah. Do you know, I used to know when I was at school, do you know bad teachers?
Yes. Oh.
Don't mention any names.
No.
And a couple of them I know are sitting in the audience with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
When you were sitting in school, I wouldn't expect you to tell me if you thought they were good or bad or indifferent, but I mean, could you tell teachers when you were in classes this week looking at the teaching facilities, which didn't really have that little sparkle they should have?
I think I could tell when I was a youngster. I mean, I think we can all tell that, and we all come to our own judgments. I was very impressed this week, and I'm not just saying that because I'm 2 days out of the staff room, but I think there was a tremendous degree of commitment. Now, I think Rhodes is right on one very important point, that morale of teachers is extremely low. And I was in a school that would be seen very much as a mainstream school in a very pleasant catchment area, and those teachers felt that too much was happening too quickly. They didn't have the status. They were not being consulted by the government. All of that, I think, led to the low... I'm very worried about what you're going to do with that.
No, I'm just going to open it. I'm just going to open it. You're safe. I wasn't going to throw it over you. Yeah.
all of that led, I think, to low morale. Now, the key question for the government is how they improve that morale, how they get the motivation of the teachers. You don't deliver good quality education without the teachers and without the involvement of the teachers.
Listen, I mean, I think everybody has heard the political points of view, and they've heard what teachers think, and we've got a gentleman in the audience here from the NUT. I wonder, though, to people who are at school, and you're all obviously in your last few months, year, whatever, at school, do you ever think, my God, I wish we had somebody who was a little more interesting, or I wish this person wasn't teaching, it's wasting our time, or this really isn't... Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel you wish you could... Yeah? Do you think you would benefit if... I mean, you probably wouldn't know because they wouldn't get to you, I would hope anyway. Would you benefit if teachers were actually dismissed like you would be in any other job if they weren't actually good at their jobs?
But there's not people to replace them at all.
There's a lot of people to replace.
It is a question of pay, like
I
said. You need to pay them more to try and attract more people into going into the profession, and so you can get the right people for the jobs. If you sack a science teacher now, where are you going to get a new one?
Yeah. And it's
you
not,
can't
it's
get
not
a new
just
one
the
at all.
staff,
Yeah.
the facilities within school. Nobody's going to do well with duff facilities, you know.
Don't know like that. We have good facilities, but we still have poor teachers. I mean, the trouble is, how do you assess a teacher?
Well, I was going to actually ask Sir Rhodes. What do you think? Should there be some sort of assessment? As
I think
Keith
that-
Joseph actually did say.
I think there should be some form of assessment, and I think it should be done somehow within the school as far as possible. The difference of the very good teacher and the very bad teacher is miles apart, and the difference of the results of the children concerned. It should not be a job for life. There should be an assessment every 2 or 3 years what one is doing. And I think in many cases, I would go along in a lot of cases with pupil assessment. That may be a dangerous radical view, but I mean the pupils and their teachers know, sorry, the pupils and their parents know who the good teachers are.
Now, John, I would not be against pupil assessment. I think the problem we've got is actually working out a system. Now, the teachers' organisations accept assessment, but the problem is how you can make a system work effectively.
We're going to come back in a few moments and talk about that. We'll also talk to John Bohr from the NUT, Ken Bohr from the NUT. They said he's very paranoid about getting his name wrong. It's wrong on your script, and I've got Ken written down here, so that's messed it up particularly. I'm sorry about that. Ken, we'll talk to you in a few moments. But first, this. Okay, now we had a brilliant competition, if I do say so myself, last week. And the question that we asked you, if H2O, this is very relevant and fairly educational, if H2O is the chemical formula for water, what is the formula for Perrier with a twist of lemon? And it's very difficult. We had some very funny answers. In fact, you're going to get some special games here to have hours of endless fun and a couple of bottles of Perrier as well, if you're the winner. Now, we had lots of different answers, no right ones, funnily enough. So here are a few that we quite liked. This comes from George Hall in Bolton tonight. He thought that Perrier with a twist of lemon should be called Citron with a French accent. Jay Holland in Chesterfield. That's the place which has the church, which looks as if it's been out on the town all night with the bendy spire. He said that he had the idea that the formula was PLJ. Dozy so-and-so. Now, this is difficult. I didn't get this when I read it before. You may. Mike Warden in Darwin suggests EA plus melon. And that apparently is a sort of a crossword clue of pear E plus a twist of lemon. And I was blank when that happened too. Dick Dill sent an incredible list of what it could be and ended up saying Perrier water is French, ergo it could contain any bloody thing. And two very clever dickheads from Harrow sent in a complete spectrum analysis, which Perrier, at this moment as we speak, are checking out on their computer. So, you know, a lot of youngsters actually pretty together, and what a waste of time. But this is the winner. This is the winner. David Irwin from Glasgow, who wrote to us. He says, "Dear James, I believe the formula for Perrier with a twist of lemon is H2, okay, yeah?" So we're going to send that to him. That's great. Okay, we'll take a break. Don't go away. Come back.
461000. He's waiting for your call now.
I don't know, but I've been told. J12! J12 on your radio. J12! Now he's on the TV too. J12! Call him now, he'll talk to you.
Welcome back. I forgot to give you this week's competition, and this is it very quickly. What, and I know Sir Rhodes is very keen on this, what are the 3 R's? What do the 3 R's stand for? Very difficult educational quiz this week, and you'll get a case of Perrier. Okay, what do the 3 R's stand for? Ladies and gentlemen, some live music on the programme from a duo who have never been seen on television before. Will you welcome Colours? Thank you.
The tides are turning, should have happened long ago. The damage has been done. They'd sink without a trace, joining hands across the ice. Can't save them all. So far too far, we kneel, we crawl. No time to pray for forgiveness. So far too far, no fear at all. Just a heart full of goodness. I'm waiting on an angel to come and save them all. Waiting on an angel to come and take control. Waiting on an angel to come and save them all. Waiting on an angel to come and take control. Who would have thought by now we haven't learned a single thing from what's been done? Still make the same mistakes. Greed and stupidity threaten everyone. So far too far, we kneel, we crawl. No time to pray for forgiveness. So far too far, no fear at all. Just a heart full of goodness. I'm waiting on an angel to come and save them all. Waiting on an angel to come and take control. Waiting on an angel to come and save them all. Waiting on an angel to come and take control. So far too far, we kneel, we crawl. No time to pray for forgiveness. So far too far, no fear at all. Just a heart full of goodness. Waiting on an angel to come and save them all. Waiting on an angel to come and take control. Waiting on an angel to come and save them all. Waiting on an angel to come and save their soul.
Right. Colours and a song all about Wales and waiting on an angel that's coming out on a record.
Later it'll be on the album.
It will. I should hope so. It's nice. Do you like that? It's good, aren't it? Right. Lucky they didn't say no. Now, if you... We're going to talk to you later. It's all right. Honestly. If you wanted to be a pop star, of course, one of the things you can do is you can send us your home videos, and a lot of people do. We've had quite a few lately. If you'd like to send them to us, this is the address. Whaley's Whalers, you know the address, Yorkshire Television, the Television Centre, Leeds, LS31JS. And we've put together a compilation of some of the funnier ones that people have sent in, and who knows, there could be future stars in here. In fact, if you look closely, I think you will actually see a member of the royal family. Watch this.
returned from Switzerland from his holiday. He says that everything was grand and there he loved to stay. Each day he climbed the mountains just like a jolly Swiss. He's even learned to yodel, now all you get is this. I'm Bill, the yodeling working man. I'm so big, I can't get my breath. He's so big, his breath. I'm so big, I can't get my breath. Fix it!
I never worked for Smash Hits. Honest girl, she never worked for Smash Hits. Don't we get on your tits? This line is crap, but it fits.
Talk to the trees, but they don't listen to me. I talk to the stars, but they never hear me.
Go crazy.
I meant oh.
If you wanna be like us, but people say no, shout long live the James Whale Radio Show.
Where's my bloody dinner?
Now, the question is, was it or wasn't it? You'll have to tell me. Don't trip over the wires, will you? Ken from Great Yarmouth is on the phone. Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Hi, what do you want to say?
What makes a slob like you such a hit with all the women?
I don't know, Ken. It must be very... Are you good looking, by the way?
Very, very good looking.
Yeah, it must be really galling for you, mustn't it? Right, thanks, Ken. Bye. Right, back we are in the studio. Thank you very much indeed. Some calls. Do chip in. Before we go to the calls, Ken, NUT, representative on the show tonight. Quickly, I must ask you, what should be done if a teacher isn't up to scratch? And I'm sure most of them are, Ken, before you tell me. I'm sure most of them are. But what happens for the odd one or two, which maybe each school might have? Should they be able to get rid of them?
Yes, I think they should. Virtually every local authority nowadays has very competent disciplinary proceedings, which the trade unions cooperate with. We're not in the business of keeping teachers who are not able to do the job in teaching, but we do ensure that any disciplinary proceedings are carried out with sensitivity. I don't think that anybody relishes the prospect of teachers being sacked overnight or treated in an inhumane or insensitive way.
So what you're telling me is you think that the facilities are there now, and that if a teacher isn't up to scratch, he would or she would be got rid of anyway?
This does happen, yes, and certainly in my experience as a trade union official.
I
think so, yes, and you've got to recognise as well that teachers are working under a lot of stress, and I think doing a very good job in very difficult circumstances.
Yes, we've all heard how badly done by the teachers are, but you think they are actually, you know, they can be got rid of enough. We'll come back and we'll talk to you gentlemen about that, I'm sure, in a few moments. Darren from Hull's on the line. Hello, Darren.
Yeah.
Your point, you're on the air.
Yeah, I think the cane should be brought back, but on it to ginger nuts.
Oh, I see. Right. Thank you very much indeed. Darren, actually, that's one of your points, isn't it, really? You do, not his point, but you think corporal punishment should be restored in most schools?
I think that corporal punishment, certainly at secondary level, boys' schools particularly, should be allowed. I don't want it en masse, but there should be some punishment inside that school which brings people into line.
Derek?
Always opposed corporal punishment, and I think people like Rhodes have never been able to show an argument as to why we should have corporal punishment. I mean, I always think that degree of violence actually breeds violence.
I would go along with that. I mean, I would think if somebody hit me at school, I would do everything I could.
Well, how is it then that society has got more violent, the less heavy the punishments are?
I don't actually think take this, I don't think it has, but I think perhaps some of the
people in my constituency in London think it's more violent than it was.
But there are a lot of other factors that come into that.
Oh, yes.
And it's not the abolition of caning. Caning was only abolished anyway, 3 years ago now? So we can't attribute all society's ills to that.
Local authorities were against it for a long time, and heads that caned, in many cases, were literally blacklisted.
We've had no corporal punishment and homicide now for something like 10 years.
Does it make any difference?
Standards have improved in the schools,
Fine.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have to say...
Even of discipline?
Sir Rhodes, seriously...
Well, I wonder where all these hooligans come from, that we travel abroad and rest. Everybody says that everything's right in their own place. Are they underground? Where are they?
They're not
underground?
They're not created in the schools. It's the social conditions that your government...
I don't think so at all. The social conditions are a damn sight better than they were in 1935, and we didn't have them then.
Just a minute.
No way.
Before we get into that, it's only a few hundred that do cause this trouble, and if we show them on the television, maybe it's our fault for highlighting it. Let's take some more calls. John in Manchester.
Good morning there, James.
Yes, John.
A question for Sir Rhodes and Ken, please.
Yes.
Seeing there's a shortage of teachers, I wondered why so many of the older type of sort of chalky teachers are against the introduction of new teachers who have not completed a 3-year course, in view of the fact that so many children now leave school at the age of 16 and they cannot communicate correctly or properly.
It's a very good point. Let's see, first of all, perhaps Ken, why is it that so many kids do leave school, they can't communicate properly? Surely we're getting the wrong people going into teaching.
I'm not sure that they can communicate properly. I think
you've heard some of them on the show tonight. Ken. Come on, don't start.
Standards are good in schools, I think. And if you look at the sort of work that is produced now in GCSE, and Rhodes Boyson was commenting a little earlier about it, I've seen the standards of work that have been produced by kids today, and they really are exceptional. And I think that standards have gone up over the past few years, and I think that it's been greatly exaggerated, the difficulties that there are of school leavers.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff from Buckinghamshire. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, James.
Yeah.
Just put a question to the gentleman on the far left. I can't remember his name now. How about that?
Far left.
Good one.
Sir Rhodes Boyson.
I couldn't be on the far left. I changed my politics.
Go on, Jeff. Go for it.
Going back to your earlier point, when you said it'd be a good idea to vet the teachers.
Yeah.
Isn't it a fact that we can't get enough teachers to start off with? And another point on the violent side of it.
Why can't we get enough teachers, do you think, Jeff?
Well, the pay is the biggest problem there is the pay.
But wasn't it the government under Sir Keith Joseph who said they would pay teachers more if they would subject themselves to some kind of... sorry? Assessment.
Yeah, all very well doing an assessment, but the trouble is you've got to get the teachers to get the assessment first.
But if the pay was higher, and if the people going into teaching thought that there was going to get the cream of the crop rather than some of the deadheads which you do get in certain schools, not all, but certainly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, in Aylesbury now, there are teachers leaving schools to go for better paid jobs because there's just not enough money. Okay, fair enough, they get a big holiday during the summer, but they still need that extra money with the mortgage rate. I mean, take that for instance. And with the violent side of it, some of the teachers are too soft in schools.
You want to see corporal punishment brought back?
Well, no. I think you need some harder teachers in schools. When I say harder teachers, where they can throw a bit of authority around. I mean, there was an English teacher when I was at school. I'm not going to mention any names, obviously. But she was a very, very quiet lady. I mean, she wouldn't say boo to a goose.
But she got your respect?
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeff. Yes, I understand what you're saying. That's a very good point. I don't know, Sir Rhodes, whether you agree with this, but I always thought it was a teacher who could teach properly, who made the lesson interesting, didn't need to use the threat of violence to keep your imagination. They taught well. And it's those sort of people who always wanted to thump you, throw the chalk at you, throw the board rubber at you. I'm sure you've had that as well. That they were the ones you didn't listen to. You just kept out of their way. You didn't really pay any attention to them.
I agree with you. I think the teacher who's in charge of his job and has a good relationship with the pupils has a better result in the class. But on this question of discipline, in every school there are certain people who do not want to be there, who are bloody-minded, and that's where I want the discipline done, because they will undermine the discipline of the class unless they're dealt with.
One last question. We've got to go for a break. But I was that person at school. Now, I was the person who didn't want to be there, caused trouble, everything else, because I wasn't academically very clever, and all I got from any teacher at school was, wake up, Whale, sit up, you're dozy, you're thick, you're stupid. I had a continual barrage of insults from teachers, so in the end, you feel that way. You don't want to respond to them.
James, you're lost out. You should have come to Highbury Grove. And what a difference the world would have been.
Welcome back. I'm on a new Keep Fit drive. That's why we're going from one room to the other. And I hear that our members in the House are on this Keep Fit drive as well.
That's all right. True.
Yeah, that's all right?
Very true.
Okay.
Very true.
Want to say hello to...
We are the leaders.
You are?
Yes,
Very good too.
We set an example to others.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to everybody at Croco Products, because they're going to send me a present. Thank you very much indeed. To everybody that's sending the faxes in, but we're we're running over a little bit tonight. Now, this part of the show, we'd like some more questions from the floor, as you say. There's a gentleman down here who I know is trying to get in before, because he has some strong feelings on education and teaching and everything else. As somebody who's having to make the best of it, if you like, and get everything you can because it's going to affect your life, your personal life, what would you like to see being done differently? You've got guys from either side of the political spectrum here tonight and people listening, goodness only knows where. What would you like to be?
I'd like to see the direct funding programme pulled through to the full, and all schools allowed the chance to do that, but the funding actually increased to enable them to change the different types of schooling. I mean, in a sense, that gives kind of democracy to education, because parents can then vote for what kind of school they want by sending their kids there. If they want comprehensive, it's fine. I mean, it's their choice if they want grammar schools, if they want other types of schools, technology guilds, whatever, give the choice to them. They know what's best for their kids.
Do you get a bit fed up with the politicians of the day making this a very big political issue? Because in the end, the issue itself loses out, i.e. education, because they're using it to win votes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think in a sense, if this government's programme goes through, it's going to in some way bring education out of the sphere of politics that it's in now. Because if all they're getting is direct funding, the government is going to lose that, and local authorities are going to lose control over what goes on in schools. All they're going to be responsible for is funding, which is a far more important issue. The headmasters, the teachers can better decide what to do with the money.
Sir Rhodes agrees with you here. I can see him nodding in the corner of my eye.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I think the head and the staff should decide on all the expenditure money. They should have a block sum.
Yeah.
And they decide. They know what the priorities of the school are. By all means, they consult their governors, but it's their head and staff who should decide.
So it takes politics out of education.
Okay, you don't agree with that, Derek, or not?
Well, we're not against devolving power to the local school, and we've said that continuously. What we are against is the schools that opt out, the city technology colleges, because those are divisive, and the government pushing or intend to push more resources into those at the detriment of the other schools. Now, we saw in Nottingham this week, as City Technology College opened, 3 times as much money.
You get breakfast there. Right? You get breakfast when you get in there.
3 times as much money going into that school as all the other schools in Nottinghamshire. Now, that clearly cannot be fair, because that means that youngsters like yourself will be discriminated against.
But it would be good, Derek. It would be good if that much money was put into all schools, wouldn't it?
You'd like to see that, but this government has cut back on central expenditure. Our friend there wants more money to go into schools. If he wants that, this government will not provide.
Let's look at some of the people who've been quiet at the back here. I'm interested to know whether or not, are you all very bright, academically good? Is that why you've been brought in here today? Or are some of you like me, ones who are being told continually that, you know, you don't have much hope in the future unless you pull yourself together? Anybody like that? No, you're all very clever and going to do great things and go to university? Haven't you got me so many, you know, real people here?
There's things on offer now for people
What are your
who...
glasses?
for people who aren't aiming to get to university and degree courses and that kind of thing. You know, there's CPV on offer for people who are looking for either polytechnic places or directly into work. You know, so people don't have to leave at 16 anymore.
What do you want to do when you leave?
I want to be an actress.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah? Do they give you enough encouragement at school, or do they tell you? They do, that's good. What about your friends next to you there, the fashion models? What do you want to do? What? Any ideas? Interested in anything? Are you good? What are you good at? Behave yourselves.
There's sixth forms and things. They have them at schools, and they also have them like separate colleges, and you have to decide sort of which to go to, and sort of.
What are you going to do? Go down the disco? Boogie a little bit? We're going to do some boogieing now. This is the new video from Gloria Estefan.
Oye mi canto.
Oh yes, Gloria Estefan. We played that one for Alan and Alicia. Congratulations on their engagement. And also hi to Chris, who watches the show every week. And some faxes just in. Is it true you have to fail an exam to get a job on the James Whale show? Have you seen this lot? Have you seen them? Of course you have to fail everything. Oh, I mustn't do that. We like to keep those. And let's, so this is awful, this one. It says, let's have more gratuitous nudity and sex. That comes from A Watch in Cornwall. And James, you are a rude, offensive, abusive, patronising sexist. Please could we have more? I see the sort of people we have listening and watching tonight. Thank you. Off you go. More calls. Tracy from Epsom. Hello, Tracy.
Hi.
Hi. Did we go to school together?
No.
Oh, right.
Well, you're a lot older than me anyway.
Shut your mouth. Listen, you've not known... Never mind. No, go on, Tracy, go on.
I mean, when I went to school, I was always considered a troublemaker and no-hoper, but, like, you got all these people with O-levels, A-levels on the dole queue, and I've never been on the dole. In the present job I've been in for the last 2.5 years.
The interesting thing, Tracy, is that people tend... it's not only the academic ability, although that is necessary, that people should learn to read, write, calculate, and have some interest in what's going on, but it seems that unless you're really into all this and you do lots of things, you're going to attain O-levels and A-levels and things, people sort of write you off, which is wrong, I think. Do you agree?
That clearly is the case. There are a lot of people we need to encourage. Tracy is clearly one of those, and she's done well for herself. We need to encourage more people like that.
Thanks, Tracy.
The problem is now we're going to have an obsession with testing in schools, which is a very bad step. It's a step backwards.
I have to tell you, Ken, the day I failed the 11+, I didn't go to school for a week afterwards. I was heartbroken.
And you've now got 7-year-olds who are going to be afraid now of testing. That's
a good point. Rhodes wants to take you back to that, of course, James.
I failed the 11+.
He wants 5-year-olds.
But you failed, but he wants a generation who go through exactly the same set of circumstances, the same feelings as yourself. That's one of our objections to the government's proposals.
I was always told, before I met Sir Rhodes, that he was a really nasty piece of work. He was, cane anybody that moved. And he's a sweetheart, really.
Don't be taken in by that. Just listen to the views that come out.
I failed 11+, and my father hit me for the first time in my life from one end of the room to the other. So I then decided education was important and went on an appeal. And for 4 weeks I did nothing but study, and then I passed. So there's something to be said for the 11+.
Okay.
Certainly for me.
Adrian, you're on the air.
Hi, James.
Hi.
When that fellow Rhodes passed the 11+, he was 31, wasn't he?
Thanks, Adrian. All right, you're off the air. Rick from Bradford, hello.
Hello, James.
Yes, Rick.
Good grief, the pain we go through to talk on live radio. Anyway, before I go any further, James, I must, the first to do it on TV is to compliment you on your success. I used to sit up for hours.
Thank you, very nice, Rick. That's lovely of you, but not on the point. Colonel Spooner from London. Yes, Colonel?
Yes, I'm a senior shipemaster from Harrow School.
Good, well, you won't need to talk on this programme. Sorry about this. Right, Paul from Magnet Drayton.
Hello, James. I went to a private school, right, and we had corporal punishment there.
Why don't they teach you to speak properly? Thank you, Paul. OK, Kevin from Derby. Hello, Kevin.
Good evening, James.
Yes?
I'm a school governor in Derby. I'd like to take you back a point or two, if I may, to the paranoia of having good and bad teachers.
OK.
In my opinion, I don't think there are that very many bad teachers. I've certainly not come up against any in the schools that I'm a governor on. What I am concerned about...
You don't think there are any bad teachers, did you say?
No, I didn't say there wasn't any bad teachers.
Not in your school?
I've not come up against any yet.
What would you do if you did?
Each individual one on its own merits and circumstances. It depends what the bad points are, James. Can I just take take your finger off the button? Just take you one step sideways.
Go on, quickly, get on with it, because we're running out of time.
Licensed teachers is what concerns me.
Licensed teachers?
People with no teaching qualifications. It's like asking me to come into the studio and do your job.
No, it's not.
No,
listen, Kevin, I'm very glad... I'm sorry, your finger's on the button, you're off for a minute. Kevin, it's a very good point. Licensed teachers, I think, is a good idea, because it means that people like me or people like you could go into to school for a while and talk.
A bit of research that you could do for next week's programme.
Yes.
The government introduced licensed teachers in September of this year. Not one employed in our schools up and down the country. Where are the people? Where are the people?
I can hear the music. We're going to continue talking. We'll be back next week at the same time for a programme all about pornography. If you have any views, write in and let us know. The other thing I want to tell you is the governors of a school in Skegness Grammar School, I think it was, wouldn't allow my cameras to go there, but I don't think it really has ruined the programme at all. They should have let us in, you see, to see what it was like. Thank you for watching. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye. So do you think that...